were they, by the offering up to saying they would vote Conservative?
Well, this is part of an overall package. We've talked about housing, and I think what's also important is making sure that people are able to get good jobs when they leave school or leave university, are able to do apprenticeships as well. So this is part of what we're doing to make sure that everybody benefits from our economic success as a country.
But economic
There's
success,
not a single
that these
silver
people...
bullet to answer the question. And when Jeremy Corbyn promises he's going to write this off, that costs £11 billion.
Well, he didn't promise that he was going to write off student debt. He said he would deal with it and they clarified it. But they did say that they would scrap tuition fees. Let's just concentrate on tuition fees.
Would cost
scrapping tuition fees. But why would a student vote for the Conservative Party when you are just freezing tuition fees at £9,250 and raising the threshold by a few £1,000s when Jeremy Corbyn is promising to scrap tuition fees?
Because if I'm a student at university, I'm thinking about what is my future going to be like. Am I going to get a good job? Am I going to be in a thriving economy? And the fact is, if Jeremy Corbyn is running the country and nationalising everything in sight, there won't be a thriving economy for those students to get jobs in.
Right.
And that's what people care about. People are not myopic, they want to see the big picture.
Well, let's look at the big picture, because Philip Hammond, your boss, there, striding towards the conference centre now, because he's due to give his speech in about 15 minutes or so. He will obviously be wanting to steady the ship. In his words, he will want to give certainty to businesses in the light of Brexit, and the Confederation British Industry has already said that disunity in the Cabinet isn't helping that certainty. But I'm here with Liz Truss, who is Chief Secretary to the Treasury, and we have been talking about students. Let's turn to universal credit. 12 of your own MPs are lobbying for a pause. Should you think again?
No, we should continue with our programme to roll out universal credit. It's an incredibly important principle of universal credit that for every pound you earn, you keep that money, or you keep enough money so that you want to stay and work.
So
that's a really important
in work
principle.
And in poverty.
Well, we're raising the national living wage, which is going to help people who are at the lower end of the wage scale. We're putting in programmes, apprenticeship programmes, to raise the level of skills. But fundamentally, universal credit is a system which is all about making sure that work pays.
Right, but in case
that's why it's better than at the moment there's a poverty trap, so that on some levels of benefits you can actually be worse off if you work longer hours.
The problem is
that's
for many people,
problem.
work does not pay, and it doesn't pay enough. Dame Louise Casey, who's looked at social issues for successive Tory administrations and Labour ones, says we'll end up in a situation where benefits will punish, that some people will end up in dire circumstances, more dire than ever seen before.
I don't think that's true at all. We've got a newly raised national living wage, which is very important. That makes sure people are paid a decent amount. We've got a very good system of support for job seekers. We've got the lowest levels of unemployment since 1975 because we've had this programme of helping people get into work.
So why does the government's own data suggest 42% of families are in arrears on universal credit because of the way the system is currently constituted?
Well, the way the system works is it encourages people to have a monthly budget which they use for their expenditure. People get support through their local job centre, and it's helping people get into the positive habits of being in work, managing a budget on a monthly basis.
And how are they supposed to manage a budget when it's 6 weeks delayed, or possibly up to 12 weeks delayed? We've had interviews with people who are on universal credit, with one woman saying she's got 4 pence to last her a month. How's she going to manage?
Well, clearly, if things are delayed, that is a problem, and that is something that will need to be fixed. That's why we've taken the approach of rolling out universal credit over a long period of time.
Yeah, but what's that
we
woman
didn't
going
want
to do in
a
that
big
period
bang.
of time?
Well, there is additional support available for difficult cases where somebody is struggling, and that is down to the local job centre to be able to offer that support.
People have to claim emergency help. If the system worked properly, then these people wouldn't be in that situation.
Well, we're delivering a system over a period of time. There are always, when you roll out a new programme, there can be some difficulties. That's why we've taken it slowly with universal credit.
So why are you continuing to roll it out before those problems have been ironed out?
I've met lots of people, Joe, on universal credit who say the system is great. They no longer have to go through the hassle. They can work extra hours without getting less money or being penalised. It is working for people on the system. We do provide people with support. We've got an excellent network of job centres where people can go if they are struggling or there is trouble. But we've rolled it out successfully to a number of areas, and we're now doing that more widely.
But it isn't successful because I've just given you the figures of people who are already in arrears and people who are struggling to actually bridge a 6-week gap while they wait for their benefits to come through. The Citizens Advice has warned the acceleration of the regime in its current state is a disaster waiting to happen, and also called on the Department of Work and Pensions to suspend it. Are they all wrong?
Well, certainly my experience at my local job centre, which I visited very recently, is that the rollout is going well, that people are benefiting from it. And quite often there are difficult cases, I completely admit that, and we do need to make sure that those people receive support to help get them through. But there are a huge number of people that are benefiting from this, and that's what I've seen happening on the front line. Strongly encourage you to go to a job centre and see what's happening, because it really is quite exciting.
I will take your advice. Just finally, how long should the transition period be for the UK when it leaves the